me. I'm here at Blarney Castle today. Try not to fall. And I began my morning, as many mornings in Ireland. Oops. With a torrential deluge. Ooh, that's a good idea. I think that in these videos, you should be required, or we should be required, to use one great vocab word. Like really great. Like epic. And you have to use it in a sentence instead of just being like, I don't know, moxie, and just use it and not use it in a sentence. It has to be used in a sentence. So that's my challenge for you. And then we were going to talk about traveling. And I am traveling currently, and I'm not going to travel as much as you did or Dad did, but I feel like I'm seeing very different things, and we all had very different experiences. So I guess my advice to anyone else, and also my ideas for you, is simply to understand that no matter what, cultures are different, even though some things are similar, and to just sort of embrace it, embrace the weird. Actually, for the first time in a week, met some Americans today, and it was really interesting talking to them briefly, but it was also interesting to understand that we have a very different idea of what we're doing here. Like, they're more of the party ones, you know, like they went to bars and clubs, and they're like, oh, are you going to Galway? And I'm like, maybe. They're like, oh, let us recommend these bunches of bars. And I'm like, cool, but I'm not going. I don't really do that. Like, that's not me. Like, I understand that certain people come on study abroad or come to Europe, and they have this sort of idea of both partying and also sort of seeing the sights. But for me, I really just want to see the sights, and then in the evenings, like last night, I was making my dinner, and there's this huge group of German students who are actually studying abroad in Ireland, and they were just spending the holiday together here in Cork. Well, I'm technically in Blarney right now, but still, in Cork, where my hostel is. And it was really interesting because they were telling me about how living with their host families was really nice, but also really difficult sometimes because their host families don't speak German, they speak only English. And one of the guys specifically I was talking to, his name's Claude, his accent is really, really thick. So sometimes it's hard to understand him. So he was just telling me that sometimes it's really interesting because the dialects of English is always different. So he said it was really hard to understand my English because my English wasn't pronounced with a Scottish accent, and also we use different phrases and things, just interesting things like that are different. So it was interesting to have him tell me that my English was weird. I've never had anybody tell me that. Well, I've had the English tell me that, British people like Paul. But Paul is kind of a snob, and he just wants it to be different because he's Paul. But yeah, no, so that was my big observation, is that they're talking with Claude and also a few other people at the front desk of my hostel. There's this man, I don't know his name, I'm just gonna call him hostel guy, but through talking with him, it was really interesting to just because he lived in America for a few years, and it was really interesting to have him tell me that he'd have so many people want him to talk because he has such a great Irish accent. But it's interesting because no one's ever oh, Diana, why don't you talk forever because you have a great accent? Nobody thinks that. Nobody thinks, oh, the American accent is so cool. Why don't we listen to that forever? But anyway, that's my random thoughts of today. I'm gonna go kiss the Blarney Stone, even though it's probably covered in germs, but that's what you do. I'll upload pictures for you to see, and, ooh, today is Friday, and I will see you Sunday. Bye. Oh, you want to see the castle? Here we go. Stop.